Hey guys, and welcome to another live of Live and Unfiltered. I'll be your host, Kia Nicole, and tonight I have joining me
your co-host Chanel Elaine.
and we have a very, very special guest. I'm going to go ahead and bring her up so we can just get this started. Hi, Kendra. All right, so
Hello.
I know Kendra, but I don't think Chanel and Kendra know each other. Kendra, this is Chanel. Chanel, this is Kendra.
Nice to
Hi.
meet you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Well, before we get started, what is everybody sipping on tonight?
I just have some tea.
What type of
Nice
tea?
vanilla chai tea. That's what I have.
Oh, let me tell you, vanilla chai tea with a little cold foam on top from Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes,
Okay.
Y'all
yes.
in this.
Oh my goodness, a little
Yes.
caramel in the middle. Oh yes.
That's how you.
I'm drinking some
But
cherry wine and some juice mix, strawberry
on
lemonade.
on
Okay.
tonight, I'm drinking Stella Rosa Black. Cheers.
I like a good Stella Rosa. We love a good Stella Rosa
Cheers.
now.
We love
Love a
all
good
the
Stella
flavors.
Rosa.
Mm-hmm. All the flavors.
All right,
Like
so
the dark.
we're gonna go ahead and get started. Kendra, for anybody that doesn't know you, go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are, what you want people to know, what you do.
Okay. So hello everyone. My name is Kendra Jacobs. I'm originally from Daytona Beach, Florida.
Whoop, represent.
Gotta represent the home, gotta represent
386
hometown.
all day.
All right.
Yes, yes. um, I am a two-time HBCU graduate. Just recently got
Oh,
my
I like
master's.
that.
Thank you. Gotta support our HBCUs. I'm very much so an advocate. I just graduated from Howard University with my master's in social work. Um, I'm about to start my new job as a student success coordinator as well.
Period.
So I'm super
No,
excited,
I'm a big one. Okay. Drink
doing
to
a little
that.
something,
I mean,
I'm trying.
I
I'm
love it.
trying.
Basically, highly educated. Let them know. Run down the education resume.
Yes, listen, I tell them the big one, not the little. Okay, don't play with
Period.
it. Don't
I
play
Period.
know
with
that's
it.
right. Look, we're gonna take another alcoholic sip for that.
Okay,
I'm a
Okay,
yes.
so
sip
we
for
did
every
not do
congratulations. I'm
HBCU,
a sip.
huh?
I said for every time she says something doing her big one, I'm a sip and sip.
She
Yes.
did so many big ones. I'm trying not to chug my whole juice. It's not even juice. It's a wine juice. Not my kid done came out here. Go, Cam. All right, so we're going to get started on the first topic. So we're going to talk about college. You just went ahead and gave us your whole college resume. What were
Yes.
some of the highs and lows of college? And what was your college experience?
Ooh, so I'm not gonna lie, my college experience was kind of crazy. I started off at a community college, my first year right after high school. Did not like it. I mean, hey, community college is great. It's honestly a great stepping stool if you're not ready for a four-year university, all of that good jazz, and you want to work while you're still in school. I always suggest community college, and it's a lot cheaper. But for me, I didn't like it. It was a lot of people from my high school that was there, so it felt like high school 2.0. So I was
Right.
just like, that's not for me. I wanted more of a culturally sound experience as well. So that's why, I really wanted to go to a HBCU. So from there, I went on to Morgan State University. I was there for a few years where I majored. I started my majoring in elementary education. Taught my first, second grade class. Did not like it. I said teaching is not for me. No, I love working with kids, but I know I cannot
Right.
be a teacher. It just was not, no. So I ended up switching to social work, which got me, into where I am now. Did social work, then I left from there and I transferred to uh, Bethune-Cookman University, mainly because my family had left from Maryland, moved back home to Florida. Then I, getting a little homesick, stuff like that. So I ended up going back home to Florida as well. That's where I went to Bethune-Cookman University. And unfortunately, Cookman, they didn't have a social work major. So I ended up doing my major in religion and philosophy. My dad taught in that department, so it was just kind of like, it's easier or whatever.
It makes
But
sense.
I will say, yeah, but the experience was great. Honestly, I will say I learned a lot about myself. And honestly, when you do religious studies, you learn a lot about people culturally, period. You learn about a lot about different international religions and things like that, and how people see spirituality. So it was very fun, having that major. Then graduated from Cookman in 2020, and I ended up going straight to grad school at Howard University. I started off as a dual major. I was getting my Master's of Divinity and my Master's of Social Work, but I decided to just focus on social work. I felt like it was more my niche, more so my calling. So I stuck with social work. Like I said, recently graduated. But it was just a lot of highs and lows when it comes to like college life, the college experience, even, just navigating yourself, trying to figure out who you are as an individual while you're still in school. You get that funny like phase of life where you're an adult, but at the same time, you still kind of like a child. Yeah. Because, you can't really do too much because school is your main priority. School is your main work. But there were times where I was in school, worked 2 jobs while I was in school. It was tough. It was tough, but I did it. I was able to, manage to get through, and I did it. So I always say, you just have to have the drive and dedication to really keep pushing forward and keep going. Just have your eye on the prize, know what you're actually there for, and just grow into who you want to be.
Love that. Love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we did not go to a HBCU college. If you hear something, it's my kid. He is reading this book, and he just had to come sit next to me. But anyway, so we didn't go to a HBCU. We went to a PWI. So it's definitely a different experience from the HBCU experience. So some of the highs for me was just the social life. I think whether you go to HBCU or PWI, you still get somewhat of a social life. Might be a little different. Okay. So for me, having more of a social life, because I didn't really have much of a social life in high school, that was a high for me, especially. And then getting them refund checks. Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I will
say. The government gonna come after y'all for saying that.
But I will say this, like HBCUs, that's a really big difference when it comes to like administration with HBCUs and PWIs. Y'all get y'all money on time, okay?
I heard that.
We don't get the money on time, not all the time. So sometimes you gotta track down financial aid people. You gotta sit in the line for hours, skip class just to go to financial aid. Yeah, like your whole day is taken away because the line is booked up to the door. So, I will say those were definitely some frustrations in dealing with, HBCUs, administration issues, professors. Some professors having very strong accents that you cannot understand. I had a couple of Caribbean professors. I had a couple of African professors. I was just like, whoa, what are you saying? Slow down for me, because I need you to break it down. I can't get it.
But see, did y'all have better food? Because our food sucked in the cafeteria. So that's one of the lows. The food sucked. And we were in D-Land, by the way. We were at Stetson. So we were in D-Land. There weren't many options off campus either. We went to like the Chinese spot, our pizza spot. We finally found a wing spot, the Rachel's, that we used to go to. Then there was like a little hibachi spot in the same plaza with the Chinese spot. But our options were so limited.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how was y'all cafeteria food?
At Morgan, the cat food was okay. We didn't have much as far as like, a lot of other HBCUs or a lot of other colleges, period, where they have like different food options. Like they'll have a Chick-fil-A, stuff like that. So my second year was when they just brought the Chick-fil-A into the campus. We had a Subway and we had a Wetzel pretzel. That was it. Other than that, you just had regular calf options. But we did have good off-campus food options. There was a plaza right across the street from my dorm. I stayed in Blount Towers. Shout out to, Blount Towers people. I stayed over there. There was a plaza and there was this wing spot. Everybody loved this wing spot. It was called Sonny's. The best thing to get is your 4-piece chicken box with salt, pepper, ketchup for your French fries. You can either get regular wings or you can get the honey wings. I always got the honey wings because they always slap. But that was like our main like go to area to go to, and then they had like other spots too, like a couple of blocks down. And you could always go to downtown Baltimore as well. They had a lot of different, options out there. You got the Harbor, you got Fells Point, not too far, different bars and stuff. But food wise, I would say Fried Chicken Wednesday was the time to be at the calf, and Fried Fish Fridays. That was when the calf was packed. Everybody and their mama was in the calf. You had to make sure you was dressed to your nines because you didn't know who you was gonna see in there. Okay, you didn't know if you was gonna see your little boo. You didn't know if you was gonna, hey, you gotta let people know I'm here. That was
Oh,
that was
okay.
the time to go to the calf on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Well,
I had to sit with that.
Yes.
So my little 2 cents that I wanted to add in for the highs for me, it's like meeting, I want to say, quote unquote, like your real friends or like long term friends. I feel like that was the highest for me. You're navigating, you're learning yourself. You're also young, you're exploring, you're going to like, the parties, just having, like you said, more of a social life. Like I had a social life in high school, but high school and college is two different things. It's always great for me to get the experience to be off campus. Like that was nice. I had to like, figure out life for me. I had to get myself up. Like I didn't have no parents to be like, oh, you got to get up and, get to school. No, no, no. I had to get up on my own time. I had to get to class no matter how far of a walk it was. I had to walk my butt to class. Okay. And then like freshmen during our time when we went to school, we're not allowed to have cars on campus
Oh,
or whatever the case was. So like you couldn't have a car as a freshman. People would, but like, they like, people who play like sports and did activities. But us like regular students, you weren't allowed to. So there was just so many like rules to it, but you had to get yourself to class. You had to be, and then for me, I also did like sports in college for a little bit. I did volleyball. Not I did like the club volleyball is what I did for a couple years, and I know I had volleyball from like 6 a.m. to 8, and then I had Spanish from 8 to 9, I think it was. And every time I would leave volleyball, I couldn't come home. I couldn't like grab breakfast. I would have to go back to the cafeteria, grab something real quick, and go straight to class. Like, who wants to get up at 6 a.m., practice for 2 hours, and then go to Spanish to another language that's not your first? It was just so much. So after 2 years, I was like, you know what? All my classes were back to back. This for me would be like the down of it. It's like I didn't really have a choice of picking my classes my freshman year. It's kind of like, well, you needed this class, in order to fulfill like the generic, I guess, majors or whatever the case was. Like you didn't have to go into specifying what your career, what your studies were at the time. So for me, I just took the basic classes that I needed. So all my classes just so happened to be back to back to back. So I would start at 6 and be done by like 4, all 4 classes in one day. And then like the next day it's like 2 classes. So the way my class was structured, it didn't work out for me. So I had to either pick class or pick a sport. So I had to give one up. So that for me just kind of limited me a little bit. But yeah, making friends, going out, learning, and just kind of being engaged on campus was the highest for me. And the lows, baby, like Kia said, that food you eating, what is it, the Einstein Brothers every morning for breakfast. I got so much
Einstein
fries.
Brothers or Johnny Rocket.
Johnny Rockets, I'm Johnny Rocket, out with that burger and fries. Oh, I was so tired. And then it's like at that time when you like a sophomore, you don't have a car, so you have to like know people that are older than you. You
exactly.
have to socialize, get being like a different friend circle. They drive you. You know what I'm saying? It's just if you really want to go have fun off campus, you got to go to Orlando for that or Daytona. It just there's a lot of highs and lows that we could get into, but those are mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, sis. All right, moving on. So, as Kendra stated, she works in the social worker field. So, explain to us exactly what that entails and what's the most difficult part of being in that field.
Whew. Okay. Social work, honestly, it's a very broad field to work in. You can start off at a bachelor's level, or you can start off. A lot of people typically start off at a bachelor's level. That's just basic, case management work, assessment work. Case management being like you have a caseload of individuals. And in case management, there's a lot of different umbrellas. It can be for substance use, it can be for mental health counseling, it can be for homelessness. It can be for individuals who are seeking citizenship. It's a very broad, sector of social work, case management. But that's just like the basics part of social work, which is just having a caseload of individuals, staying on top of, the different needs that they need, giving out resources, doing home visits if that's part of your case management job. Also, there's like with social work, you can do either direct practice or you can do macro practice. Macro is more so like community work, so that's like community organization, um, being a part of different corporations where they need a social work input. Such as you're going out into the field, going out into communities, getting sample surveys, or doing research and stuff like that for those major corporations. So you have that social aspect to what's needed to be met by the organization. You can also go into, like I said, direct practice. That's where it's more so one on one. That's more therapeutic work. That's more um, yeah, therapeutic work, basically like counseling. You have more so the clinical aspect of social work. That's where you get into the diagnosing of individuals. That's where you get into understanding the different theories and different practices when it comes to therapy, because they have like multiple different umbrellas that you can choose under. A lot of people do CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, so it's more common as far as like nowadays when it comes to therapeutic practices. But people are now starting to branch out more into contemporary things. So even with CBT, they'll have umbrella sectors like meaningful mindfulness. That's what it would be, and that could be like a technique that you could incorporate with your therapy, where it's like exercises and stuff like that, where you get the individual's mind to just become relaxed. It works great with anxiety. It works great with individuals that have panic attacks, individuals that are they have symptoms of OCD and things like that. You find different ways where you can incorporate practices and exercises that'll help the individuals to alter their behavior, and the behavior is altered through their thinking. So that's how the cognitive behavioral aspect comes into it. Basically, it's like our thoughts are controlled by our feelings, and our feelings
Uh-huh.
make us act out our behaviors. So that's, something that typically, the main thing that we work with is working through our thoughts and our feelings so that we can alter our behaviors. Um, but that's like it's a very big thing. But what I do, I work with individuals that have IEPs or they have behavioral health issues. So as a student success worker, I work with 3 different schools that are within the Montgomery County area. And I work with those individuals that are on a roster that have, like I said, IEPs, behavioral issues, and things like that. And I work with their teachers or their administration to figure out different strategies or resources that could be helpful for the student to not only just be success in school, but also to be successful outside of school, whether I may have to incorporate family resources. We have a lot of immigrants, undocumented individuals that are up here within like the Maryland area. So I know I'll probably be working with a lot of individuals like that. So getting immigration papers together or finding different resources that will help them as far as English classes, things like that, learning different U.S. history. Like they'll have different immigration classes that are held at public libraries. So just giving out those different information resources to the families and also to the student to essentially like help them have a successful matriculation through school, whether it be elementary, middle school, or high school. I'm typically used to working with middle school and high school students. I used to work at a group home, and the age group was 16 to 19. You can only imagine how that was, dealing with attitudes and stuff like that, different diagnoses and mental health issues that they have as well. So it's just, hard to kind of navigate, making sure that you're not triggered yourself. I would say that's one of like the hard pieces of working in social work, making sure that you're aware of your own triggers, making sure that you're aware of your do's and your don'ts. and making sure that you're culturally competent, because you never know, you may be doing something simple that's normal to you, but it may be offensive to another individual. So you just have to make sure that you're careful with a lot of things that you do in social work, because you don't want to only trigger yourself but trigger the other individual as well.
Thank you for breaking that down, because I don't
Right.
know about anybody else, but when I think of like social work, I just be thinking of the people who, like, I don't know, like CPS and people
Yes.
who come
Oh
into the
my gosh.
homes.
Yes.
So that's why I was like, yeah,
CPS.
break that down
Yeah.
for us, because I know it's more to it than that, but I'm just not knowledgeable on it. So thank you
Right.
for breaking it
Welcome. I'm
down.
glad you brought up CPS. Because with social work, there's a lot of systematic issues as well. So as a social worker, you have to constantly be an advocate for whoever it is that you're serving. Sometimes you got to fight the system or the organization that you actually work for. It's a lot of things that can fall through the cracks for individuals. Like, you may have a social worker that was given to a youth, for example, from the ages of 5 to 9, and that social worker probably did little to nothing to really help that child. So now, once they're going on to another social worker, whether it be that social worker left the organization or that child went into a different organization, it's like that, and then that social worker having to pick up the pieces from where they left off. And if there's some errors, or if there's some things that are like slipped between the cracks, like, for example, if a child needs some type of evaluation, but the evaluation was never done when they were in their younger stage. So now that they're older, their symptoms and their behaviors are a lot worse because it was not, caught while they were younger. So having to pick up the pieces like that, and then, like I said, fighting the system, CPS, DSS, foster care, it's just so much. And policies, legislation, like the U.S. Supreme Court, they just ruled that it will be a criminal or offense for homelessness. Now they're, criminalizing homelessness and stuff like that, constantly having to fight for these individuals that don't have voices. So I would say, like, that's the downside. You can get burnt out very, very quick with this field because you have such a big caseload. But that's why it's always important to have self-care. Make sure that you have that work-life balance, especially working with in the social work field, because especially if you're doing direct care also, because you have a lot of those individuals dumping their inner thoughts, their inner feelings. You're trying to work on behaviors, and like I said, those triggers or personal triggers, they can cause you, to have your own mental breakdown for yourself. So that's why they always encourage us as social workers, if we're doing direct care, to also have our own therapist as well, for us to be able to debrief, let go, do all of that. If we were in a session and it triggered us, being able to go and talk to our personal therapist and let them know, like, hey, how can I work through this as a professional?
Okay. So that was well said. I wanted to follow up with a quick question. How do you separate? I know you kind of briefly did that, but you personally, or if anyone else is watching that does want to get into this field, how do you separate like leaving work at work and not taking it home with you? What are like practices and some things that you do?
I will say, like, for me, it was I had to learn the hard way. I had to figure out that, what's going on at work is at work. You can't
Right.
bring that with you.
Hmm.
So some things that I learned how to do was, I'll, do like a little meditation for myself before I leave my job, or I'll do a meditation like in my car before I go inside of my home, to make sure that I'm okay. Excuse me, make sure that my mind is clear, make sure, my emotions are regulated. So it's always important to, have a little sector or time for yourself, whether it be listening to your favorite song, whether it be going to get your favorite coffee, drink, or whatever, doing something for yourself to make sure that you're able to have that separation. Retail therapy, that's one of my main things I love to do. Okay, whether it's going to shop Target and picking up a candle. If I had a rough day that day and I know I need to really debrief, I'll take myself on to Target, look in the aisles, may find some home goods, and I'm good to go. So you just have to make sure you find something that works for you when it comes to taking that moment to debrief before you go into your home.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for covering
Love
that.
that. Well, kudos
Yes.
to you guys for entering into those fields because, like, that's some heavy work.
We need
That's
it.
some really heavy work, like taking on other people's problems and knowing how to, like Chanel say, separate the two from being home and being at work. So
Yeah.
kudos to you for
And we need the
sister.
representation, especially Black
Yes.
people. We need to be there
Yes.
because
We
a
do
lot of
need
our
to be
people
advocates.
are the ones that are getting some of these services, or these services are not being rendered to them or resourced to them correctly. So it's always important for us to be in that field, especially when it comes to the therapeutic part, because of the fact that when it comes to therapy, having that representation, somebody that you are comfortable in talking to. A Black kid going into a therapy session with a white middle-aged woman, they not finna talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be real with you. They're not finna talk to you. They're gonna give you the attitude. They're gonna look at you like, why am I here? I don't want to be here. I'm just here because they made me to be here. That's why it's important for us to have representation, because not only do we understand, you know, the Black experience, but we'll be able to show them like, hey, you got somebody that's like you, and we can work together to figure out how we can get you on a very healthy mental path.
Agree. Agree. We definitely need the representation for sure.
Yes.
Like you said, we the ones mainly needing the services, so we definitely need the representation. All right, moving on into a lighter topic. Kendra stated that she loves music, so I want to pick her musical brain. Who are your top 5 favorite music artists?
Ooh, I did write this down because I be having brain farts. But my top 5, and it's crazy because I was just gonna go with straight female, but I was like, I gotta add some men in there too, because some of their voices be like butter. So, my first one I would say is Fantasia. Then you have Kiera Sheard, Jasmine Sullivan, um, Avant, and then I couldn't decide between the last two, so I said Jonathan McRiddles and Mally Music. Yeah, that's my top 5. That's my top 5.
Okay, well, none of them made my top 5, but I do
Mine
love
neither,
Fantasia.
child.
I
I love
contemplated
them all
adding
too, but it ain't
Fantasia.
made my top 5.
And I love Kiara Shear, right? That's what you said.
Yes,
No, you said
yes,
Kiara Shear. Yeah, I do love her. I didn't even think to go into the gospel category,
yes.
but yeah.
I mean,
Who's
I listen
yours,
to gospel
Chanel?
music a lot.
Me, me
That's my
too.
background. My
Me too.
mom
But I feel like
sings
if I'm gonna do gospel, I
all of
need to. I
them.
don't know. I feel like that need to be its own separate.
Yeah,
Right.
you ain't lying though.
Um,
That is gonna be his whole separate thing. You right.
Mine, I don't know if I have a top 5 because I changed. Like, if they drop, like, a good album, I might, like, enjoy that album. But right
Yeah.
now, I'm more so in, like, the R&B hip hop world.
Okay.
I would say Honcho. I don't know what it is, but baby, something
Okay.
about him that stole my little heart. So,
Okay. That's how I feel about Skilla Baby. I like.
right.
I love me some Skilla
I
Baby.
like
I
Skilla
like
Baby
Skilla
too.
Baby.
I
He got
like
a nice
Skilla Baby too.
personality. Yeah,
I think it's their personality. Like their voice is cool, the little auto tune work, but
Yes.
it's just like how goofy they are. I
Yes.
ain't mean like that.
Yes.
How goofy they are, how they present themselves. The craftiness they have. So for me, I think the personality that they have, like it's entertaining to watch. And if you can make me laugh, I'm gonna sit there and watch whatever it
Oh yeah.
is. So
Yes. Most definitely.
right, I'm a very goofy person myself. So when I see somebody else goofy, I'm like, oh, I don't see what you did right there. Like, yeah, I could, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say, Honcho. Who else? I'm not R&B. I mean, it's always gonna be Usher. No matter what he put out, it's always
Yeah.
gonna be Usher. Baby, I've been singing my little heart out like I done feel his
I
pain.
forgot
Okay,
about my
always gonna
man.
be Usher. I like Future. Future's been way back from like
Yeah.
high school years. Boosie, I'm a big Boosie fan. That's from like high school years. Big Boosie, big turn up. I just love that great
Yes.
stuff. And then I would say Summer Walker. I like Summer Walker. I know she be going through a whole lot, but it's very much relatable.
I was
So
gonna put
I
yeah.
her.
like
I love me some
I was
Summer.
gonna
She
put
almost
her
hit my
on
list.
the.
right.
Yeah.
And I love Mo 3. I don't know if y'all know who Mo 3 is. He died though.
Yeah.
I love Mo
He
3.
sound like gospel, like, right? His voice sound churchy, or no?
Some songs he does where he'll add like a choir onto like a rap. I like him.
Give me
And
a
then
more hood Rod Wave.
right.
He give
But
me a more
he's
hood
very
Rod
like
Wave.
versatile. He could sing and he could rap, and that for me is just like talent. It's not just he just out here. It's just talent. And also, you just said it, Rod Wave, baby. Anything Rod Wave dropped got my name on it. So all right, I'm done. That's past 5. But those are my regular people in rotation with a few more, but that I can think on the top of my head right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, mine are Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know what was going way back there.
Yeah,
See,
mine's
that's
like
the
of all time.
thing.
I
Of
thought we
all
were just
time.
saying
If we
like
were going all the
current.
way back, I got a few of them.
Right,
Now.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
you were
I
saying
mean,
current.
I told you your top 5 favorite
No.
artists. I mean, y'all could have just specified recent artists.
I was
Y'all
thinking more so like current, but okay, I got you.
Yeah, mine's all
I ain't
time.
thinking
So
of
Whitney
all
Houston.
time, because all time, yes, baby, Whitney up there.
That's what I'm like, how is this a hard question? Okay, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Monica.
Okay.
I really got to say, okay, I did Chris Brown, but I have to add Usher in there. So Chris Brown, Usher, they're just together. I'm going to just put them together. Can't have one without the other. And then Janae Aiko. That's mine.
Yes. She is so
anything she comes out with is just so soothing to your ears. It's just like, so angelic. I don't know. I can't explain it. Her music's just very soft. Anna said Brent Fayez, Tim, Snow Allegra. I love me some Snow Allegra. Tevin, love me some Tevin Campbell,
like
Tony Braxton. Anna gets it. She went way back.
No, baby, you didn't specify. You
no,
said
I don't know. Just who's your top 5 favorite artists?
I know, but I'm not thinking like, because I'm like,
I wasn't thinking like that either.
It's okay.
I wasn't thinking way back. I was thinking like more so like current, because I'm like,
Faith Evans would have been up in there.
Who?
Right.
Faith Evans, Chaka Khan.
Oh yeah, Faith Evans. Yeah. It's okay. That was they recent, y'all. They know some better artists.
Yeah.
That was that.
I know some old school now.
Right. All right, let's move into
Anna
the
said
trivia.
it's difficult to pick 5. Yes, Anna, I agree. It's funny because all I could think of was 3, and then I started talking. I said, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's really hard. I have way more, but like that's the first that comes to my head. All right, let's move into the trivia. So Kendra likes music, like she said. She's in the social worker field. She likes to shop, like she said, and she's told me she likes getting her nails done as part of her self-care. So we have a little mixture. We have a little this or that, little true or false, and fill in the blank, and multiple choice. So let's just get started. Who is considered the mother of social work? Jane Addams, Frances Perkins, or Susan B. Anthony?
Ooh.
Feel free to guess. It's okay, because this is like a history lesson.
See, sound like
at Howard, we were all about the Black perspective. So, them sound like, ain't no listen, ain't no nothing against them. Ain't no nothing.
Is it?
But
I'm trying to help.
Is it Jane?
I don't know. It sounds like C. C sounds like she up there.
Jane Susan B. Anthony?
No, Jane.
You got it right, Kendra. It's Jane Addams.
Because I'm like, her name sounds familiar. I've seen her in a few textbooks. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's Jane Addams. You got it. All right, moving on. Social work is a predominantly female profession. True or false?
True.
Yep, it's true. I don't think you got to even be in the social work field to know that.
Yeah,
very much so.
They're
a little bit more compassionate.
Yeah. Okay, so Kendra, did they ever explain why there's not enough men in there? It's just not something that men are interested in.
I look at as like equivalent to teachers. Like there's not a lot of male teachers. Social work and teaching is more so of like a nurturing type of a role, I would say. You have to have a lot of empathy. You have to have a lot of care for individuals. So, with men, I'm not saying that, our men ain't out here with emotions, and our men ain't out here that can feel and care. But it is just more, easier for us women to go into those fields because we are naturally nurturing individuals.
That made sense. Yeah. We're more empathetic. Yeah. All right. Let's move into the music category. Finish these lyrics. I'll give you a hint. It's a SWV song. Very popular.
Okay.
'Cause my heart starts beating triple time with thoughts of loving you on my mind. Finish.
I can't figure out just what to do when the cause and cure is you.
Yeah. That's the one.
What?
That's it.
Baby,
You
I
got
get
it.
weak in the knees. I get weak
Yeah,
in
that's
the
like my
knees,
favorite song by them
baby.
too. All right. Who was the first female artist to debut on the Billboard album chart at number 1? Mariah Carey, Madonna, or Whitney Houston?
Ooh.
First female artist to debut on the Billboard album chart at number 1.
Oh, that's hard. Because I feel like it got to be either Madonna or Mariah.
Mariah, Madonna,
Uh,
or Whitney?
I think I'm gonna go with Madonna.
What you say, Chanel?
I say Whitney.
It's Whitney.
It is.
But that's a good second close guess.
Yes.
All right, let's move into shopping.
Okay.
I don't know if you shopped at these stores growing up or if you still do, but H&M or Forever 21, so this or that. Which one do you
Oh,
prefer?
dang. Okay, see, growing up, it was Forever 21. Because I'm a little thicker, on the thicker side. Forever 21 had my sizes. H&M didn't have my sizes. So
Yeah.
I feel like, it's a little discriminatory. But, now,
She's not lying. They definitely
listen.
had a whole day. It was like the one in Orlando was like upstairs or something.
Yes.
Up the elevator. Yeah.
Yes. But now, because we still have Forever 21, but it's like on a mobile app. Their clothing is more so on the cheaper side, like the material. I do
Yeah.
like H&M a lot more now.
And more quality.
Better quality,
Yeah.
And I dress a lot of business casual now, so
Yeah,
I go to
H&M.
H&M a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got it right. It was Whitney. H&M better quality. Yep, you called it. Definitely
Yeah.
is. All right, last one. Long or short nails? Which do you prefer?
Ooh. I'm a long nail girly during the summertime and when it's my birthday. But, because I have to work and I'm always on my laptop, I have to do the short nails because it's easier for me to function and do all that stuff. But at heart, I'm a long nail girly. Yes.
Okay, long nail girly. I'll stick to short nails. Any last thoughts you like to share?
Yes, you guys can follow me here on Instagram at lavetta.j. That is my middle name for people who do not know. Pay homage to my grandmother. But, any final words? Just be blessed. Keep God first. Amen.
Amen.
Keep doing your big ones out here, everybody. Regardless of whatever it is, just stay at it, stay put to it, have faith, keep pushing, persevere, and you're gonna make it.
I love that. All right, guys. Well, that concludes the live. Thank you so much, Kendra, for joining us. This was such great conversation. It was good chopping up with you again because I haven't seen you in forever.
I
So
know.
proud of you. Keep doing your thing. Keep being an advocate for the kids out here. You guys, make sure you follow her. Make sure you're following me. Make sure you're following Chanel. Just click that drop down arrow and follow all of us. Follow Live and Unfiltered podcast page.
Yeah.
Follow our YouTube, Live and Unfiltered. And yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yes.
All right. So on next Tuesday, you guys don't forget to look out. Shorts of this is going to be posted on our Live and Unfiltered page. So it's important to follow that page. And again, we don't go live from that page because we're still growing that page. And this video will be on YouTube later this week. And we'll see you on my page on next Tuesday. Thank you so much for being here, Kendra. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good night.
Good night.